Everyone.
Hi,
We
youtube.com.
we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and potentially Instagram, as usual. All right, we are live on Instagram. Hi, everyone. Hello, world. This is Stacie Jackson with Strands Fiber Arts Fashion, and we are at our final series of the Meet the Designers episodes for the Strand 2025 Spring Series. We are a little bit off schedule because of certain things happening in our lives, but we are here. We made it, and this is our final episode. So our show, our 2025 spring show is coming up this Sunday, which is what? Today's Wednesday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
4 days.
4 days.
Yes.
And we have our Meet the Designers free community event in 3 days on Saturday, March 22nd from 2 to 4. So today, in our final episode, we have me, Stacie, Miss Lazheta Richardson of Avarose Creations, and Miss Michele Walden McPhee of Michi Knits. Michi Knits. Sorry, guys. Michi Knits.
Okay.
This Miss Michele is our first knitwear designer that will grace our stage. So we have resigned to be nice to the knitters this time. We can't call this an all hooker show anymore. Now we have some knitters and macrame artists and designers on board. So let's get into our final interview. It's a little late over here on the East Coast. Miss Michele is coming to us from my hometown, California, and she's in Studio City, California, and Miss Lazheta is coming from Hammond, Indiana. So we're all on little different time zones here, but we managed to get it together. Yeah. So hello again and welcome. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today. How are you?
That's very good. Hey.
All right. Let's jump into this interview. Can't be up all night. I know we all got last minute strands we need to be weaving in and completing projects that we started yesterday, stuff like that.
Don't do that because that's real. Really started yesterday.
Yeah, right. I still think I want to start one today, but that's a whole nother story in and of itself. All right. So the way this works is I usually field the questions to the veteran of the group, and then the newcomer gets to answer second. Miss Lazheta has been with us now for is this your third show?
Yes. Yep.
Because last year was your first year, and you did 2 shows with us last year, our March show and the Sweet Arbor Music Festival, and we had a great time in both events. So thank you very much for attending. And then Miss Michele, this is her first appearance at Strands, and hopefully not her last. So Miss Lazheta, please introduce yourself and tell us about your fiber art.
Okay, I'm Lazheta Richardson, and my brand name is Avarose Creations. And just a little bit about me is I just been crocheting since I was about probably like 10 or 11. And my mother taught me how to crochet. I come from a very creative family. So a lot of my aunts could, crochet and sew. So I kind of picked it up just from the family. And then I used to only crochet footies. That's the only thing I knew how to do back then. And then during the pandemic, my daughter, she wanted me to teach her how to crochet. So that's how I started back into crocheting. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I get my name from. My mother's name is Rosemary. So that's the Rose of Avarose, and my daughter is Ava. So dedication to both of them. Avarose was born. And so I do crochet, and I crochet everything. So I really just really started, since I've been doing strands, doing clothes, but I started with hats. So I was making hats, and I was afraid to put it out on Facebook, and then I finally did, and it went like crazy. So that's kind of where I started. But then I never want to be put in a box. So I like to do everything. I like to do amigurumi. I just like to do all kind of stuff with the crochet, because I mean, that's how much I love it. I just want to do everything, knowing I can't do everything. So, but I try to do everything that I can, but I really love designs and clothing and fashion. A friend of mine, Jennifer, she's a seamstress, a master seamstress. She's very good. She upcycles clothing, and so she wanted me to crochet some of the like sleeves for her wears, and she got me into fashion. And so from there on, I just been going, and I'm kicking it with Stacie, and I love it. So,
We love having you. You're a great addition to the squad.
thank you.
We appreciate you very much. Okay, Miss Michele, the question goes to you. Introduce yourself and tell us about your fiber art.
So my name is Michele Walden McPhee, and I'm originally from Queens, New York, but I currently live in California. And I do knitwear. I'm a knitwear designer, and I never decided to be a designer, but it basically chose me. I started knitting as a child, put it down as a young adult, put it down and picked it up as a young adult. And I entered a designers competition with my knits, and I won. So I always say that it chose me versus me choosing it. And so everything was being done by hand, but as time went along, it got tedious and people weren't willing to pay for all the time and creativity that went into it. So I went to FIT just to learn how to use the knitting machine. And from there, I just started been creating.
Okay.
And I started, so another little backstory is I worked for a nonprofit, and every year we had a gala. So during our meetings during the year, I was knitting something for the gala, and I was wondering how to make it Afrocentric. And I started using carry shells. So a lot of my pieces, especially the early pieces, had carry shells on them. So that's one of the marks.
All right, that's nice to know. Made something for us, huh? Us in mind. That's great. So you use a knitting machine in your work.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And I'd still hand knit. So for this, I picked up my needles, and it's so gratifying. But yeah, most of my pieces now are done by machine.
Okay, that's good to know. Unfortunately, in the world of crochet, we can't do that. We gotta sit there and whip everything up, literally by hand. I don't think that I even want a crochet machine to even come into the market. Like, don't even think about making one.
Yeah. I have one of those knitting machines, but I have never used it. One of my Instagram followers sent it to me, and I want to use it so bad, but I never have found the time to try to learn it and do it. Yeah.
Some YouTube videos, YouTube University. Try that out. Yeah. All right. I think you touched on this, Lazheta. I don't know if you want to add to it, but what inspired you to start designing in the fiber art space, and how did you get your start in the field?
Yeah. My friend Jennifer, she like I was saying, she's a seamstress, but the upcycling that she does, that really intrigued me. And then trying to add crochet to just different, like if you go to the thrift store and you buy a blue jean jacket and you want to switch the sleeves up or switch the back up. And so that really got me like, oh yeah, okay. So that was the start of Avarose, but then just trying to do something without blue jean or any other fiber and just do straight crochet and clothes. That I was amazed at myself that I could actually do it.
That's good. It's best when we can impress ourselves, right?
Yep.
No better person to impress. Okay, Miss Michele, same question.
Well, it's interesting. Before I entered the designers competition, I had gone to a fashion show, and there was a black furrier, and he had the fur with knit sleeves. And I'm like, I can do that. So that's where that started. And I was doing some piece work for a woman and realized that she was taking a silhouette and just changing up the knitting patterns. And so I started doing that. So that's how I started creating.
Okay. All right. When you say using a silhouette, what do you mean exactly?
A silhouette, like she may do a boat, just this, like a plain boat, like let's say a tank top. And like it could have been knit, purl, rib, but then there's so many other different knitting patterns, like cables and things like that. So she would take the silhouette and then just
Mm-hmm.
change the knitting pattern. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, do that. So I started
Yes.
experimenting with it.
Yeah, I recommend that to designers. Like, just grab a piece out of your closet and just crochet it in whatever pattern you want, and then you can definitely keep switching up the crochet patterns on that same piece and come up with a whole different piece. So yes, that is very very good thing to do, and that's pretty cool that you picked up on what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can come up with so many different things with the same shell and foundation, but using different intricate stitches in
Right.
that work.
Yep.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing what that fur looked like with the knit pieces, though, with the knit arms. Is he still in business?
We're talking about 40 years, so I doubt it.
Okay. It's been a while. All right. Miss Lazheta, can you share any significant moments or milestones in your career that have helped shape your journey as a designer?
I can just say Strands, really. Strands has really helped me to develop as a crochet designer. Because especially with your themes. Now, first of all, let me say last year I love granny squares. Okay. I am a granny square girl. And just the finding out so many different types of granny squares, I just fell in love with that. But this also is taking me to a whole nother level. Because what's so crazy is that I keep finding mesh stitches, and I want to make something with this stitch. So just learning new stitches is really, I feel like this is the goal that I set for myself, is to learn more stitches. Not, I really love double crochet because you get some stuff done, but
right.
it to look different and have more intricate looking, even when it looks intricate, and it may not be when we're making it as intricate, but it looks so good that everybody think like, oh my God. So I have learned so much doing this. And what I realized, which I found too late, was my stitch dictionary. Everybody needs to have a stitch dictionary. And I went through it. I'm like, dang, now I want to make this. So that book, any stitch you want to learn is in that book, and you can create so many wonderful things just from learning the different stitches.
Yes. You might have to get a few different stitch dictionaries. I've noticed. I have, I think, three of them, because they all still have different stitches within those, right? And then one that I finally came across, which is what I needed in my world, was a stitch dictionary that showed how to increase and decrease on your patterns, because we can do stitches all day long, but when it comes to like having to shape it up, right, and increase and decrease, it's like, okay, wait, hold up, what do we do here when it's some intricate stitch, right? So there's a book by Dora Orenstein, and I can't even tell you the name of it. It's over there somewhere, but it's shoot, I'll get in a minute. But it's about increasing and decreasing those stitches. So she gives you the regular pattern, and then gives you the increase of it and the decrease of them. And I think something else, maybe working on the corner. But that book, that was a lifesaver for me. Like, okay, finally, because like I said, you can do regular stitches all day long when you're working, squares and rectangles. But when you gotta start shaping stuff, you're like, where the heck do I put this stitch now? Exactly. So, yes, stitch dictionaries are a must for any designer, because as we were talking about just a minute ago, you could take the same piece of work, the shell, the silhouette, and just apply a different pattern to it, and you got a whole different piece.
Yes.
So stitch dictionary, that is so hard to say. Stitch dictionaries are vital to this whole entire cause.
The only downsides I have to the stitch dictionary is the diagrams. I'm still trying to learn how to read the diagrams. I can read patterns, and I can, especially when you write it out. But those diagrams, I'm like, okay, this is a what?
So with the diagrams, I used to avoid those like the plague. Like, what the hell is this? Never mind, I'm not reading that. I just need the words, right? girl, I've so evolved. If it ain't got a diagram, I don't even want to be dealing with it because it's like, well, what the heck? Like, because you can see what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
If you want a brief introduction on how to read those, I will definitely sit down with you while you're here this weekend and show you. But I love a diagram because you don't even need the words if you have the diagram.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
I'm trying to learn it, and so I'm practicing. But yes, we can have that one-on-one or whole group of us.
Right. Yeah, we can. So it's just a matter of knowing the symbols of the stitches. That's really all it is. Just getting those symbols down in your head and you're like, oh, okay. You know, I could do this, that, and the other. So yes, them diagrams, I love them now. Now that I know how to read them, because I used to come across patterns on Etsy back when I was patterning. And then they would just give you the freaking little stitch, you know, just a little snippet. I'm like, you put all that together. Now I get it. Now that's all I need is the stitch pattern, and I can figure out how to put it all together outside of that. So anyway, yes, a stitch dictionary is key. Now to Miss Michelle, same question for you. It was originally, can you share any significant moments or milestones in your career that have helped shape your journey as a designer?
Oh, well, I've done fashion shows for a while, and just meeting people. Well, one of the things is, as fiber artists, there aren't too many of us out there, especially when you go do a show outside of what you're doing. So a lot of times you are the only one. I know I did a fashion show, and I had fitted the model, and we were all set. And the day of the show, she was like, I can't wear your clothes. And I'm like, why? She says, I just can't. And I was really hurt by that. And she did wear a piece, and the picture, she looked like she was disgusted in what she was wearing. So one of the things I learned about that is, I know models go, I'll wear whatever you want me to wear, but you can tell if a model likes what she has on. And she'll wear it, she'll rock it. And I rather not put a piece into a show than put it in a show and a model not represent it, because I find that says a lot about it. And another thing I find is that models, when they're trying on the clothes, they're like, oh, I don't want to tear it. But I'm like, they're clothes like any other clothes, and they're sturdy. And I'm like, if it's going to tear, I want to know now. You know, I don't want, you know, your aim is to sell. So you want to know it's going to withstand being put on, being taken off, and, you know, things like that. So those kind of things have helped me in my journey, and how I deal with my shows, and how I go to them, and how I deal with the models.
Okay. Those are some pretty poignant points. Now, our models, they don't get down like that. They're going to rock it regardless of how they feel about it. And they're not even going to let it be known how they feel about it, which is the professional thing to do. So exactly. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because you can't gauge, but you know, yeah, our models, they wear and rock it all. So you won't have to be.
You can tell if a model really likes what she's wearing.
Yeah.
They'll wear, I mean, like I said, they'll wear it, you know, but you can really tell if they really like what they're wearing.
Yeah, they'll be all in the mirror, twirling around.
Yes, and even the smile on their face, you know, it's a big difference.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I don't think you'll have any problems though with.
I'm not worried, because I usually have enough.
Very professional.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we're working with here. We are at 20 minutes, so we got a little bit of time left. I won't keep us up all night though, because it is late, and we got 4 days, 4 days.
It'll be 3, because I'll still be woke all night.
Make sure you get to sleep though before you get on the road, please.
I will.
I've fallen asleep at the wheel before, and that is no joke. So
Definitely.
Please get your rest before you get on that road, and your driving mate as well. You're not driving initially by yourself, are you?
No, it's 5 of us coming down together.
Right. But your first 2 hours, but it's only a
Oh
2 hour
no,
late first one.
they are driving together.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. I love a road trip, but you just got to be very prepared for that.
A road
Okay.
trip. I
Say that
do not.
again.
I do not love a road trip. I love a plane ride and get there real quick.
True that, but sometimes, man, the plane, when you're in a plane, the flight and then adding on all the extra time from getting there and all that extra stuff, it's like I might as well drove. So and then I have
Yeah,
my car.
I could have drove. I would have loved to have driven, but it was like
Yeah, that's too far.
Like,
yeah, that's entirely too far to drive for such an event, for sure. Last year in October, I went to Detroit on a road trip, and then right back in November went to St. Louis on a road trip back to back. So, that was fun. I will say I had a good time on those. All right, next question. Can you walk us through your design process from concept to finished piece, Lazheta? You already told us how you go through the stitch dictionary, and that inspires you. So what else inspires you?
So I watch tons of runway shows on YouTube, and I try to find I find pieces I just like to watch because I want to see what they're wearing. And I try to like find pieces that I love, and then I try to recreate them with yarn. But I just went to Alvin Ailey just like last week or whenever it was. And one of the pieces that one of the dancers had on was a pantsuit with a skirt over it. And that inspired me. I just wanted to hurry up and get home so I could recreate that. It was cool. And so I just see regular things, and it inspires me to want to go make that crochet it. So whatever I may see, or I might see two pieces and I want to put them together, and that inspires me. So it's just what people are wearing in general inspires me to want to create my designs.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I like the fact that you see regular clothes and then want to recreate them in crochet. That's pretty cool. And that's an easy way to start freestyling your own stuff if you're used to using patterns. In addition to that stitch dictionary. that was really hard to say. Stitch dictionary. Okay. Lordy, it's like a mouthful. Okay. Miss Michelle, same question to you. Can you walk us through your design process from concept to finished piece?
So sometimes things come from mistakes, and not wanting to waste yarn, I'll play with it and see what it can become. And then I'll try and recreate it being very intentional. And also yarn, the colors. I'm into colors and the different fibers or the different textures of the yarn. Like I discovered bamboo. So I just went crazy with bamboo. I like mixing yarns together. So sometimes I may take a simple skirt and try it in different yarns, and it has a whole different effect.
Yeah, that bamboo is great, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. Yes.
What do you love about it?
It's soft and it's easy to work with.
Yeah, I like the drape and really make sure garments move really nice and flowy. And yeah, it is very soft. The downside for a crocheter, though, it splits. So if you're not really careful with how you hold your hook and yarn, it will split on you. But once you figure out all of that, bamboo is like one of the best things to use when it comes to making garments, for sure. It's got a very nice thing. Where do I get my bamboo? Everybody's most loved to hate place, Hobby Lobby. And I've used Goucher's bamboo yarn. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Goucher. She has a yarn company, and she sells bamboo yarn. She sells a variety of different yarns. I'll send you guys the link to her stuff.
You the one with the pearl yarn with the pearls?
I'm not sure, but I've seen that recently. But I'll send you guys the link to her work. But I've used her bamboo. The skirt I have on the cover of last year's magazine, that was her yarn, and that was bamboo as well. Um, yeah, bamboo is really cool if you are out there and you need something to work with outside of acrylic. Bamboo is the
Yes,
way to go.
so I get my yarn, a lot of my yarn from Silk City Fibers.
Silk
Maybe.
City Fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? I haven't heard of them.
Well, they were in New Jersey. Now I think they're in North Carolina, but you can order from them online, and they've got a whole lot of yarns.
Okay.
So, in being a machine knitter, I use cone yarn. So, but they also
Mhm.
have skeins, but they have cone yarn. So that's where I
Okay.
usually get it. But that's got a nice bamboo.
Okay. And then I use creativeyarnsource.com as my other source, but I haven't used, I'm not sure what their bamboo is like, if they even have it, but I use them for my mercerized cotton yarns. But Silk City Fiber, I'm definitely going to check that out because bamboo can be limited in some, it can be limited what you can get from Hobby Lobby and some of my
Mm-hmm.
other places. And I would like to expand the color range on that. Um, yeah, so cones, you use cones. I was wondering what those were really for because I went to a fiber parts yarn shop the other day and they had a bunch of cones as well, and I just it didn't click as to what they would be used for on a
Well,
regular.
you can also spin them into balls. You get a
Right,
yarn
yeah,
spinner, then you have your balls. But yeah,
yeah,
basically for knitters. And
okay.
also, I think
I'm
weavers
using
use.
a cone. I'm using a cone now.
You
Um,
are
got from Walmart, and I just figured it was. I don't know what I thought was the reason why it was in that shape.
for you talking, I know what you're talking about, Lazita. Um, yeah, but those are the only ones you see at Walmart are
Yeah,
those cones. But
yeah.
yeah, okay, the cones. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into those more. I have a yarn winder. I don't know if you saw a recent post I made about my yarn and the
Okay.
yarn winder. I thought I was doing something good using the doggone yarn winder, but I ended up pulling out half the cake because it was too
Hmm.
tight. So now I have to learn a new skill, and that's how to wind yarn correctly. You would think it would be something simple like put the yarn on the thing and then crank it, but apparently not. I've
Yeah.
been told to yarn it, wind it twice. Wind it one way the first way, and then you wind it again the opposite way.
Oh, okay.
Haven't tried it yet, but we'll see. And that I'm giving Courtney Whitehead told me to do that of Creations by Courtney. So I'm gonna take her word for it the next time I spin some yarn into a cake. We'll see. I'll let y'all know how that works out.
I know.
All right. So let me see another question. I asked you that, y'all touched on that. What unique elements do you think fiber arts brings to the fashion industry that other materials or techniques cannot replicate? Lazita.
Oh, we have the ability to, well, first of all, we're creating the fabric, period. Because that is amazing in itself. Like we're making something from literally nothing, from a ball of yarn and turning it into some fabric and turn it into something wonderful, a beautiful dress, a gown, or a jacket, or whatever. But we bring a lot of variety and just something different to people. That's what most people, when they know that I crochet, oh, I can't wait to buy something from you because I just like to look different. I don't want to look like everybody else. And so I think that's the element that we bring, is that
Mm-hmm.
we make all shapes and sizes, and that's from nothing. And
Yeah.
that's about it. It's just so much to do, so much that you can do, and it's just no limit to this crochet.
No limit. No limit at all. Miss Michelle, what would you like to add to that?
Well, and I totally agree. But also, what I found, and this is probably also under some of the challenges, is I find that a lot of women like wearing knits and crochet, but they feel that they can't. And I find that so amazing because women wear spandex. you know, and they wear clothes that aren't flattering, but they will not try to wear knit or wear a crochet outfit. And so I think just, you know, just staying true to our art and letting people see that you can do it. One of my slogans is you're not going into the store to fit into the knit. The knit's made to fit you. So it's also about educating people as to the process, but also helping them to expand their minds as to what they can do and that they can look good. You know, like with any piece of clothing, you try it on and you figure out that it works or it doesn't work. But what we do is we help them work. We create it for them, and it's theirs, and it becomes unique to them. And I think that is, you know, a lot of people like Lazheta, like she said, it's like people want to look different, you know, and that's another reason why I got into, you know, once I said, oh, I can do this, I got into design because I didn't want to be wearing what everybody else was wearing, you know. So, but I think the education process also that is so important, you know, and I find, you know, and also helping people expand color. You know, people, you know, someone will come in, I want an outfit, I'm like, what color? Black. I'm like, I bet you have a closet full of black. And they're like, yes. I said, well, let's try some color. And a lot of people do, and they're amazed at how good they look in color. And as people of color, we shine. So it's helping people to appreciate that. And I think as long as we stay true to ourselves, even though it's a dying art, but it's something that I think will always be around. And I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
I don't know if you did either, but hey, it was a valid response. But wait, what do you mean a dying art? What's a dying art?
Well, you don't see, at least where I am, you don't see too many knitters.
Yeah. So look, I'm glad. Well, not that. Let me take that back. Not that I'm glad. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I've noticed is there are more crocheters now than there are knitters.
Yes.
You see crocheting like exploding now and becoming more common, especially among us, more than I do see knitting. So I wouldn't say knitting is a dying art. It's just not popular right now compared.
I'll take that.
And I don't know why exactly it's not. Well,
yeah, I find that people they say crocheting is a lot easier than knitting. That's what a lot what a lot of people say to me, and they'll even you know, and everyone will say, not everyone, but a lot of people like, oh, we like your crochet. I don't crochet, I knit.
So thing that we go through the same thing.
I knit. I don't crochet. And you know, even my mother the other day, she's like, "Oh, you're crochet, Mom. I knit. Stop it."
See, and now that's a testament to how crocheting has become popular, because nobody ever said, "Oh, you're crocheting." It's always, "What are you knitting?" Like, "Oh, I'm not knitting."
It's reversed now.
Right. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's reversing. Yes. I'm glad to see that, because again, I've always said us crocheters have always been looked at as second-class citizens when it came to knitting and crocheting, right? You walk into a little yarn store and you tell them you want some yarn to crochet with, they're looking at you like, "Oh, you crochet? That's it?" But not anymore. We have stepped up and we are taking over the fiber arts field, especially since crochet can't be done by machine.
Right.
It's people are wanting to actually get involved into making their own apparel. So anyhow, before I go off onto my own other tangents, let me get back to the questions. Let me see. Okay, ready. We're going to talk about community now. But before that, let me get into some comments that we have. Daniel Wallace says,
Daniel.
He made the comment about you knocked it out of the park. Whose friend is that? Yours, Lazheta?
That's Daniel Wallace.
Oh, Janelle, I'm sorry. I cannot see, even though I still have my glasses. Hi, Janelle. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. I apologize. She says you knocked it out the park. And she also says you're very talented. Everyone can't do that. And the question came up is what piece took the most time for us all to make? Lazheta.
Ooh. Well, from the last show, it was those pants. I call them my Avarose pants, which nobody saw, but it had Avarose down the leg.
It did. I didn't notice that until I was looking at the pictures the other day. I was like, hey, she put her name in there.
Yes. But when I sewed the pants together, I put them on the inside of the leg, but I meant to put them on the outside. I was like, oh, well, that's what but those pants took me, maybe because it was my first pair of granny square pants, it took me a good month or so to make those. And but I love them. I want to wear them every day. I have never worn them out, but I plan to.
Okay,
so
let me see if I can find them. Wait, I don't think they're in this video. Okay, yeah, because I was looking at those just the other day. And I hadn't noticed it before, but I was like, oh, she spelled her name in the That was cute. All right, so you say a month?
Yeah.
That's not horrible. Yeah. Did you did all the squares by themselves and then sewed them all together, huh?
I did. And then the squares were kind of big, and they were different pattern squares. So the squares alone took me, some of them took an hour to just for one square. And so those pants took a long time. I think I started like in around Thanksgiving, and I didn't finish. It might have taken me a little longer than a month, just because and plus I was doing other things. So once I get bored with something, I got to put it down and start something else. So I'm a multitasker that, I'm doing a million things. So it did take me a little longer than a month.
We need to come up with a term like like ADHD or something for that specific thing. Like we're working on something and it's like, okay, enough of this. And then you see some yarn, you're like, oh, I want to start making something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Oh no, I saw another design. Let me start on that.
Right. And then you get bored with that, and it's like, okay. So yeah, you know me. I'll work up to 90% of a piece, and then put it down. And then when it comes time to showtime, I'm like, all right, time to finish all these up. And I'm like, ooh, done. Ooh, done. Ooh, done. So yeah, that's me. Miss Michele, what piece took you the most time to make?
My first wedding dress.
Ooh.
I handmade it, and it had pearls all in it. So I was working. I had 2 young daughters. It took me about 6 weeks. I think that's all I had. In the morning, I was riding the train, stringing pearls on this thin cotton yarn. Came home, got the kids ready for bed, and was a knitting fold. And I was knitting so much, I put a hole in my finger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It healed up, right?
It did, but now I have another one. That's probably the same hole.
Yes.
So now I learned how to knit around it. But
wow.
So it took me about 6 weeks, but it was beautiful, if I say so myself.
You have a picture of it?
I do.
All right, you got to post that one of these days so we can see it.
I will. Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, 6 weeks. I don't even time myself anymore. Like when people ask me that question, I have no idea. Like, I don't know. Because like I said, I will get almost done and put it down, and I will put something down for a long time. Like it could be a year. Like I have the skirt that I'm gonna put on stage. I've had this skirt for like over a year done. Like but it's actually not done. I still have more to do on it, but it's been done, so don't ask me. I can never answer that question. How long does that take? I don't know. I have no idea.
I get it, because I recycle stuff that I have and I don't sell it. It gets recycled into something else.
Yeah, this is one of those pieces. This used to have long sleeves on it all the way down to the wrist, and it's a sweater, and it just it came to where a sweater normally is. but I decided to take the sleeves off and make it a dress. So that's what it is now.
Mm.
I recycled the
Yes, I
piece.
love it.
Yeah. Yep. If I don't like the way it is, I could just be like, okay, frog that and make something. Especially once I've gotten pictures of it already. Yep, time to do something different. So yeah, I agree with that. All right. Now we're going to talk about community. How important is community within the fiber arts world, and how do you connect with other designers and enthusiasts? Lazheta.
Oh, it's so very important. It has been my favorite thing to do. Um, I thought crochet was like a dying art until I got on TikTok and I found my people. I found my people on TikTok and I was like, these people just started coming out of the woodworks. So many people, and I was just like, I did not know, and they are young. So, like that's where I say this is not your grandmother's crochet because these people are young and vibrant and making all this beautiful stuff. And so that was where my first community came from before I came into Strands. And then once I came into Strands, it was just a done deal that those are my people right there. And we talk outside of Strands and we keep in touch with each other. And of course, I'm in Chicago, so the Double Stitch twins are out here, and we always run into each other. We all like house music, and we run into each other at different functions. So,
Yeah.
and when they have events here, I have been to some of their events that they give out here. So it's super important for me. And it's just because nobody speaks our language but us, you know.
Mhm.
We're talking about different stitches and people are looking at us like, what is this foreign language? Only and like the diagrams, nobody knows what we're talking about but us.
Right. Symbols and charts and all that stuff. What is an FC? What is a DC? What does all that mean? And you
Right.
like, yeah, for people who can't read patterns, and when you look at a pattern, you're like, what? What is this language? What is this?
Yes. They don't know what it is.
Right. I'm like,
That's
oh, this is single crochet 1, chain 2.
yeah. Yeah. I love it. So community is super important for me. I just love this world.
Okay, great. I'm glad. I'm so glad that we can provide a resource of being community for you.
And I love that we have our chat and we can bounce ideas off each other, or we can share information. And it's just a fun place like if I'm venting, like when I was having the oh so meshy nightmare, I can come there to talk to y'all about that because y'all understand.
Right. Did any of the resources help you out?
Yes, especially that size one. I'm not sure who sent that one. That was so helpful.
Was it the gauge sizing one?
Yep.
I
Yes.
think I probably posted that one,
Different
maybe.
size, like just regular sizes and stuff. Standard size rather.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. That was super helpful. Just, and just y'all being there to hear me vent.
Vent to your people, right? Exactly. Okay, Miss Michelle, how important is community within fiber arts world, and how do you connect with other designers and enthusiasts?
Well, I'm sure it is important. I had a community back east. I haven't found my community yet here, and that's been hard.
LA is different.
It is. But I wanted to say thank you for including me in your family. So this is my introduction to developing a family and a community. So, hey, thanks.
You're welcome. Sure. So be prepared to be questioned, and from all the other designers, because that's what we do to each other. Like, oh, how'd you do that? Oh, that's pretty. What yarn is that? So yeah, be prepared for all of that.
I'm open. I'm ready.
Yes.
When I go back to New York every now and then because I need some love and to get full. So I'm sure when I leave there, I'm full with you guys.
Yeah. Oh yes. LA is a different place. I mean, especially for us, really, to be honest with you, it is so people who are not from there or haven't spent a lot of time there have a really their notion of LA is just it's not right. It's not right at all. It's like, yeah, no. I find my home to be in the South and on the East Coast, honestly, because yeah, LA is just not it. Not for us, not really, not at all.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're talking about, and I don't really even know too many knitters in that area. I do know some crocheters though, so if you need that, I can link you there. And
Well,
side,
Jamie, that I met you through
yeah,
Jamie.
right, exactly. So Jamie is one, and I've met a few other people through Jamie too. So yeah, shouts out to Parlez-Vous Crochet out there in Glendale, California. Miss
Yeah,
Jamie
yeah.
Preston doing her thug thizzle with her crochet jewelry and kits and everything. She's great.
She's expanding.
Yeah, she is big time, big time, big time. Um, yeah. So there is some community there. It's just not as much as you would think it should be.
Yeah.
You could say. I plan working on a Long Beach show. So let's see what happens
Let me
from
know.
community building then. Yes, I will let y'all know next week.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
when it comes to the LBC, Lazheta,
Yes, ma'am.
that's my other. So I'm from LA and Long Beach too. I always have to give out shout outs to Long Beach. Those were my formative years growing up. So
I love to go.
that's home for me. All right. Okay. Let's we have about 15 more minutes. So let's get into the nitty-gritty side. What challenges do you face as a fiber arts crochet designer and knitwear designer? And how do you overcome them?
Ooh. For me, is the first thing is time management. I'm horrible. Just trying to juggle crochet and life. It's like crochet and life.
Right.
Else takes a backseat to crochet. So just time management for one. But my biggest problem right now is working out. I need to work out, and I sit down a whole lot, and I have like my butt hurt because I'm sitting down so much. But I and bought a I'm a TikToker, so I bought a vibration plate off of TikTok, and I didn't learn how to vibrate and crochet at the same time yet, but I do. It's set for 10 minutes, and so 10 minutes is like supposed to be equivalent to 30-minute jog. So I'll get on there for 10 minutes and then do some exercises and get it in 10 minutes and then get back to crocheting. But then I can do that a couple of times throughout the day. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what was the purpose of that, to get my blood flowing from sitting down so much and doing stuff like that. My sister, Danielle, she teaches yoga, and I used to go to her yoga class, but it kind of moved a little ways away, so I don't go anymore. But I love doing that. So
you like to dance though too, right?
Oh yeah, yes.
You get your dance on. Yeah.
I haven't been out, and you know what? That's another thing. Like my cousin is like, "You're not gonna meet somebody in the house while you crocheting. You need to get out." And I'm like, "Girl, I can't. I'll go outside after March."
But
I do go out, dance, get my dance on.
So you're gonna have to learn how to stand up and crochet.
Yes, I am. While I'm vibrating on my machine.
Right.
Yes.
And that way you can be out at the club, house music and then crocheting and be like, see, I can do both.
Right. Because I do take it wherever I go. I just don't embarrass nobody else bringing it to the club, because I would.
You ain't supposed to be worried about them. Worry about yourself. Right. You can't embarrass them. Cross Crew says life work balance is key to better health and what you love. It so very much is. True. That's why I'm such an advocate for working from home. So you must. Sharon says hello, by the way, and she says we got FOMO days, and she says she loves your TikToks, Lazheta. So,
girl,
yeah, you are funny on TikTok.
That's my other release is TikTok. Yeah, making my fun videos.
Yeah, you are funny. You don't have to tell me how you fit that in your schedule of time management.
I'm up all night. I do TikTok late at night when it's quiet. So then I,
Oh,
because I have to do it over and over again.
all right, that's cool. Miss Michelle, so what challenges do you face as a knitwear designer and how do you overcome them?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, just helping women appreciate that they can wear knits, the whole education about it. And I find, the more I talk about it, and not only that, I always have pictures of women, especially full-figured women, in my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when they see that, then they're like, oh, I can, or oh, she does. But then there are those dead hard ones that are like, I can't wear a knit. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. But one of the questions that you did have under that was about criticism. And I'd like to address that.
Okay.
And I really gave it some thought. And to be honest, criticism stings, but I have to see where it's coming from. If it's coming from a place of a building, or if it's just coming from a place for someone that doesn't know the process. Because a lot of people don't know our process. They don't know that we start, I go like, I started from this. It was just thread, it was just yarn. And they're so familiar with cut and sew that when they see something that's done by hand, then they have a concept that it's not really good or it's not worthy. But the yarns we use, they're yarns that your clothes are made out of. We use linen, we use cotton, we use wool, silk, all the things that you can buy regular clothes in. But I think it's just a whole education of people to help them appreciate what we do.
Yes, it is. And you touched on a point where I make it a point to do is have full figured women in our work, because you will hear that all the time. Like, oh, I can't wear that. I'm too big or whatever. I'm like, nah, man, that's not the way it works. And you can wear it. You can come see some pictures, we got all sizes on the runway, just so that you can relate, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you can relate, because I can't relate to those tall, skinny chicks on the runway. I can't, not even like at all. So I prefer to be more representative of the population and of, of regular real people when it comes to the models, because if you can't see yourself in it,
right. They're the ones that we want to buy our clothes. I mean, we're not just here to show because we feel like showing. We want to develop clients, repeat clients, and women are all sizes. They look at me, oh, you look good in that because you're little. I said, yeah, I made this for me. I can make one for you too.
Exactly.
You have to be open to it.
Right.
Good. But that's one of the wonderful things that I love about Strands, is that we're so size inclusive, and everybody is welcome. And when you even look on like magazines, and I do a lot of Pinterest, I go on Pinterest, and everybody's so little, but that's not what everybody looks like, because I was for a long time like, I can't wear that, but I can, like you said, I can make what looks good for me out of all crochet, and I made things look great that look good on me. It fits me, and that's what we do, is we fit you.
Right. We fit you.
Buy something and looking for size, we gonna make it fit you perfectly.
And it's really giving too. A lot of our work is giving, meaning like, like I have pieces that'll work on a very small, thin person, and that same piece will work on a plus size, full figured person. So like you said, Michelle, education is definitely needed, and examples as well, so that people understand that they can be part of the fiber arts clientele when it comes to clothes. So I agree with that. So since you wanted to touch on the criticism question, I'm gonna throw that to you, Miss Lazheta. How do you handle criticism of your work, and how do you use it to improve?
I like you said, I try to see where it's coming from, and are people just hating? Because but most of the time, I don't get a lot of criticism on my things. I get a lot of compliments. But anything, I want people to be honest, especially like one of the ladies from our show, I forget her name, but she was performer, and I made her an outfit. She bought an outfit from the last show, and it just didn't fit her right. It didn't fit. And I'd like to let people know that I will, if it's my mistake, I definitely want to correct it, because I want you to feel good in what you wear of mine. I want you to look good and I want you to feel good. And she had a lot of room. So she sent it back and I fixed it, and it fit. So I don't mind criticism. It's because you're helping me to get better.
Right.
And that's what I aim to do. I want to be better. So I hope that my show this time is better than what I presented the last time, because I want to continuously grow. And that's what criticism helps me to do, especially when it's coming from a loving place.
Right.
And even with, I don't know, I would take criticism much better from a crocheter, because then they really understand our process than somebody not understanding what it's supposed to look like it's supposed to look
Right.
like.
Right.
So, yeah.
I had some idiot on Twitter talk about like your crochets are dog shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, get out of here. Like, I'm not even entertaining that notion at all whatsoever. Like, you're an idiot. So yeah, like you said, you have to find out where it's coming from and give it credence or not from that point. It's like, if you're a hater, yeah, whatever. But but yeah, some criticism is necessary and valid.
Yes.
We call that, what do we call that? Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Right. So it is what it is. But like you said, I don't get too much criticism anyway. So it's not something that is always dealt with or needing to be dealt with. All right. So we are almost out of time. We got about 4 minutes left. Let me see how we gonna close this out. All right. I'm gonna ask a double question. You can pick what part of it you want to answer. It is, what advice would you give to an aspiring fiber art designer who wants to make a name for themselves in the fashion industry? And what has been the most rewarding project you've worked on and why? Lazheta.
I would tell an aspiring designer to just not be afraid to explore whatever. Even when you make mistakes, keep going, because those mistakes turn into fabulous pieces. I know from experience. I failed a lot, and I've turned things into like, oh, damn, I didn't know that I could do that. So just keep going. Just don't give up. Learn as much as you can, find your people, find your community, and because that's encouragement. We encourage each other. I also test patterns on Instagram for people, and so we just tested a lady's pattern, and then we had a chat group, and we didn't want to leave each other, so we kept the chat group even though she's not in it anymore. But find your people, and to just, the sky is the limit, and you can do whatever you want, and don't be put in a box of what people you can do. And then the other question was, what was the other question?
What was the most rewarding project you worked on?
It's definitely Strands, because it's been ongoing, and just the camaraderie and the friendship, and even with everybody, like, we are so different, but I've learned a lot from all of you, and everything that you do. Like, Aisha is wonderful, because if you say anything about her design, she's trying to teach you how to do it, right there. So that's what I love about her. She's always willing to help you no matter what. It's not like, oh, this is my secret, I have to keep it to myself. Everybody's willing to help each other. So that is a great thing for me.
Yes, great. I'm so glad that is your situation with Strands, and everybody's situation with Strands, really. All right, Miss Michele, what advice would you give to a fiber artist designer?
Don't be discouraged, because we create out of love and passion. So no matter what the industry says, we'll always be relevant. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there'll always be an audience that will appreciate and love what we do. So,
Yep.
you know, and stay true to your aesthetic. You know, don't let people steer you into who they want you to be or feel that what you should be doing, but stay true to
I
your
concur.
aesthetic. Yeah, and
I
be
concur.
creative. You know, try
Mhm.
new things, try new yarns, you know, and you'll find your niche. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
something that like Lazheta said she
Was it?
started with Lazheta.
It's
Lazheta.
okay.
By the time I see it, I have it right. You know, you start with hats and then you branched out, you know, and also be good. Find at least one thing that you become good at,
Hmm.
that you really enjoy doing, and then work with it and then expand. But I would say don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be not discouraged. That is a very good one. And just because one person don't like your stuff doesn't mean that everybody doesn't like your stuff.
Right.
Some
Exactly.
people you just can't ask questions to no more. It's like, okay, never mind. And just, move on. I have one
Yeah.
of those in my house. Anyway. um,
But what you said about the new yarns, okay, so Stacie introduced me to mercerized cotton and I kind of went crazy. Look, Joanne's made me nervous. It closes, so I had to go crazy in the store before they ran
mm,
out of mercerized cotton. But I love it, and I'm like, oh, but I have so much acrylic. I gotta use it. I'm gonna
use
use
those for bags.
it. Yes, but I love mercerized cotton now. I'm
So
a
do
fan.
I. Yes, I do too. Like I said, I use creativeyarnsource.com to get my mercerized cotton. There's a brand called Sinfonia, and they have a ton of colors, like a lot of colors. So
Okay.
I would highly recommend them if you are there. I assume you bought the Lions brand 24/7.
Yep.
That's what so Sinfonia is similar to that, a little bit softer, I would say, just a little
Oh,
bit. But I like Everyday 24/7. That is, or whatever they call it. That's
yeah.
a really good
Yeah, because
mercerized cotton.
the shine on it. I love that shine.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has the sheen. Um, yeah, and so since Joann's, I wanted to say this, since Joann's is going out of sale and we're going to be resorting to having to buy yarn online, I would recommend you getting a yarn card from the manufacturer or yarn store so that you can see what your colors are. You'll have an actual reference in hand because computer screens never really display color properly or consistently. So it's very helpful. Like when I need a color, I just pull out the yarn card and look at that, and so I can actually see the yarn itself. So
Oh,
sometimes you have to pay for them; they're like $5, but I think it's a really good resource to have if you're going
It's
to
an
be
investment.
buying. Yeah, if you're going to be buying yarn online, because
okay.
it sucks to just think you're getting one color and it be a shade off, and it's like, okay. So definitely get your yarn cards, since we are losing Joann's, and
Right.
Michael's to me is not even a contender when it comes to yarn, but
Oh,
it is what it is. I'm still a Hobby Lobby girl, unfortunately for some people, but
me too.
they got what I need. I'm, in hand in store. So, all right. So we are going to wrap this up. I want to thank you, ladies, for joining me at this late hour. It is 11:35 on the East Coast. But I appreciate everybody that has logged in to watch us. We had quite a few viewers today. I just want to leave everybody with you telling the world how they can get a hold of you outside of seeing us in 4 days on the Strand stage. So let us sign us out here, ladies, and let us the world know where to find you.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Avarose_crochet and the same on TikTok, Avarose_crochet. And I'm on Facebook. I have two pages on Facebook. One is just my regular page is Lazheta Richardson, and the other one is Avarose Creations. I do a lot of just putting my videos and my pictures over there. I don't have I'm working on a website other than Hooker Lane. You can find me there too. And I'm also doing a Shopify. I don't know. I'm still working on that.
All right. Well, you know I'm a web developer, so if you ever need assistance,
so, yes, I need you.
I can help you there. All right, Miss Michele.
So you can find me at Machine Knits. That's MICHIKNITS, or more_Michee, MOORE_MICHI. Facebook is Michele Walden, and also more Michee. And yeah.
And your website?
Machine knitwear and more Michee.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right, you guys, you got that. And then you can also find them on fiberartsfashion.com. Click designers and you should see them there. And make sure that you attend our, I don't know if I call it the 7th annual, but we are definitely in our 7th year of Strands. So if you're in the Atlanta area or drivable, please come out and see a fantastic, spectacular show and meet some wonderful people. And if you are not drivable or flyable or want to stay where you're at, virtual tickets will be on sale tomorrow. Tomorrow, March. What's tomorrow? 20th.
The 20th.
Virtual tickets will be on sale, so you can watch us live online Sunday. I think I might be live on Saturday too, but we're just gonna go live Saturday. No tickets needed. All right, so thank you again, ladies, and thank you for everybody who came and watched while we were talking. I appreciate you all. You have a wonderful evening. Happy hooking and stay creative. I got to come up with something for you, Miss Michele, for knitters.
Okay.
So, happy hooking to all my hookers out there. And happy needling.
Right.
All right. Take care, everybody. Love you.
Bye. Love you back. Bye.
Bye.